Hello everybody, this is ZigZagZog coming to you from somewhere in this world. We're back to continue our playthrough of Empire Total War, featuring Darthmod in the 40 unit save version, playing as the Poland-Lithuanian Commonwealth. And we've made our incursion into the into the Ottoman Empire territory, and they sent a little remnant army taking out a little Turkish bath of ours. We're going to let them know we do not appreciate such actions in our territory. And we're going to take this force here in Sarajevo in Bosnia to try and address that. I think we can safely move out enough units to effectively counter this army in our back country here, ravaging the countryside, and deal with things. The one thing I want to do before is I have a little over 3,000 in the bank, and Vienna happens to be my #1 income producing territory, and so I'm going to spend that 3,000 right now before we get into our battle on the infrastructure there, because it does help the town wealth along with improving our movement speed. But it's not a bad place when you really don't have a priority. I mean, we need roads in Pressburg and Hungary also to improve, but guess what, the priority goes to where it's going to give me the best bang for the buck first. Once I've got my roads connected where I need to get to, now it's all about income. So let's get it done. And there we go. Now I think it's time to figure out who we want to send against this force. Now, this force does have a couple regiments of artillery, so we do need to be able to counter that. The one thing this force does not have, and that is cavalry. So we should be able to hopefully outmaneuver and have some cavalry units available for rear charges and whatnot to help us out overall, knock out artillery perhaps, whatever ends up being in the cards for our cavalry. Let's choose 2 artillery units here. I think we're going to keep the general in town unless I find out I must need the general in the end, but we're going to take cavalry here, cavalry here. I'm going to try and take mostly full strength units that I have available to help counter them, and we have a lot. We have a lot of line infantry that's at full strength to help us outnumber them. We'll keep the expat infantry available at full strength just so we have something full strength left over, and I think that should match up just fine with the forces they're going to throw against us. Obviously, we could send a lot more. Here, why don't we just send a few skirmishers just to have them for variety? And I think we have a force that will work. And therefore, I'm not taking all my army out of Sarajevo. So hopefully the public order should be just fine. So let's go on the offensive and get rid of these units in our back country that are harming our infrastructure. And we are good enough in Bosnia. And we are going to battle with their 3,072 men versus our 2,872. Yet, our superior firepower, because they do have a number of mob units here that make up a big chunk of those numbers. Quality-wise, we outnumber them, and let's go see how this battle turns out. All right, looks like a nice day on the battlefield. Let's get a little more aerial view to see how we are going to need to set up. And we do have a bit of a hill right in front of us, although that hill is facing a forest, so it's not necessarily the most effective spot to set up, but it is like the lone rising that we have to cover the battlefield. I guess you can argue we have other troops out here that are acting as spotters on the battlefield. So why don't we do this? I'm going to set up and then we'll come back, revisit, and get this battle going. Okay, I've decided to split up the artillery a little bit. One gaining kind of the open view here in the field. Not a lot of hills modulating and blocking our view. So I kept one over here. I also did put one up on the hilltop just to, well, not put all our eggs in one basket. How about that? We have cavalry over on each wing of this line. It is mostly a single line with only one reserve unit and some Albanian warband that we're going to probably send up to the front of the tree line to see if we can't harass in a skirmishing way, and then based on their setup we'll figure out how we want to maneuver, if at all, with our cavalry on the wings and whatnot. So let's get this thing going. They did a straightaway center setup. We'll let our artillery start firing. We're going to move up our warband up into the tree line, front of the tree line. Hopefully stay hidden while we're able to pepper them at a distance a little bit. And they did not dig in, so that's something we have to be aware of if we go against their flanks. And our first barrage did not seem to do a whole... Oh, we took out one gun, unless it was missing right... No. Yeah, we took out one gun, a few members in the regiment, but we outnumber them. I have a feeling a number of their units are in hiding right now. Because we definitely do not see enough of their units visible at the moment. We're going to set our cavalry off into the hillside over here in the trees, hopefully able to go into hiding. And we're going to see, I don't think this bit of trees will provide much cover in the way of anything for our cavalry, but that's where we'll set up our position there on the wings. And we're going to start advancing on this side also. We'll start out advancing up to the wall line here with these two units. See what we can spot. And you may notice, I haven't really pointed it out much, but in the early part of the episodes, when we set up our line infantry, I spread them as far as I could stretch them out. Now that we've researched fire by rank, I usually try to keep them at least a depth of 4 lines, because that just seems to help the fire by rank work properly when you have a little more depth to your own regiment. If you string them out too much, they kind of stick to the front line fire. So that's just a note if you haven't ever seen that or experienced that. So when possible, like I didn't do here, keep your lines a little shorter to take advantage of what they have to offer. And we haven't uncovered with our movements on the wings with anybody, and we're at least pounding. We are pounding their units here. Not taking out a lot of cannon, but if they're going to stand intermingled with their own artillery, guess what? They're going to take a pounding. So our guys are hiding in the trees, kind of waiting for them to unknowingly walk up to us. In fact, I'm thinking, why don't we take this wall cover for starters, since he's decided to bombard us over here. And it looks like they're targeting, or we'll see if they come up towards my line. I think right at this point we're going to move forward with this regiment over here. Kind of fill in right here at the moment. Yeah, they've taken their attention away from our cavalry over there, and they're kind of set now, or they've kind of stopped their advance. So we're gonna continue advancing our own lines on the wings here. Try and get positioned a little bit, ready to respond to their moves. And what have we got? We got this one wavering and broken. I'm going to focus all my artillery fire over here for the moment. And they are advancing upon us. They're taking fire from our guys in the trees, shooting out on them. What we may do is toggle my skirmish mode, so we retreat as they advance. Let's see how that works for us. but we're peppering them during their advance, and that did not work well for them. Now we have some stronger units over here, though. And where are we setting up in relation to them? I think we need to respond a little differently all of a sudden. Let's get into position fast. And I'm thinking canister fire at this point is probably in our best interest. Did we form soon enough to get fire out? No, we need to bring our cavalry in to help out this charge. There, we finally got some fire going there. Let's get our cavalry out to support us. The rest of the line is holding up just fine. In fact, they may be retreating enough that it's time to bring in our cavalry from the wings over here. We'll see. Now they're reforming now, so we'll hold off on that maneuver. And let's see if our cavalry over here has reformed. We're going to try running them down a little bit. We're going to change off of canister shot now. That did definitely help us. We'll bombard these troops over there. Now we'll back off the cavalry. They're not needed at the moment. Bombard this advancing unit here. We have both these units shattered. We're going to run them down with our cavalry. Try and reduce their numbers in the back country here against us. They have a lot of hidden units popping up, in case you haven't noticed. They're trying to run after it. All that's going to do is tire them out. What have we got over here? Janissaries. So they can shoot. If they're able to get set against us, they will be able to shoot upon us. Now is the time. We need to take out their artillery. And let's redirect cannon fire. They're trying to form against us, but it's not working so well. Our cavalry ran into some resistance here, but it's retreating resistance. Let's continue our assault on their artillery to just knock them out once and for all. We have done it. Now it says they have 2 cannons here, but they're broken, so they're not going to be actively firing against us. What I'm going to do is run down some more routing units over here and just keep bombarding at the moment at a distance. There are infantry units that are still live and active against us. As we keep our cavalry running them down, we're down to 10 units there. Now it's time to really start getting aggressive with our own infantry and leave behind the cavalry and advance in line formation. We'll start bringing our lines forward. Right now they're more interested in chasing down our cavalry which with them on foot is just going to wear them down and make matters worse for them. Keep our artillery bombarding their units that are in range, that are still active. And we'll just keep wearing them down as our troops start reforming lines to go after their remaining holdouts. The idea, though, is to run down as many as we can so as few as possible are able to escape. Although the other unit that was with these has escaped off to the side. And yeah, let's see if we can get some of our fire by rank action looked at. Wonderful, wonderful. And they folded fast under that withering fire. Combine that with the artillery fire that they're facing. And they're now, apparently, out of range. And looks like these guys are going to start moving towards us. So let's see if we can't face to take them on now at a run. So we can get it set up, hopefully, before they advance. And wither them with our... And we are in place. Except they've stopped advancing. Oh no, they're still advancing. Okay, they're going to be in range any moment now of our forces here, so we should be able to start firing any time. Now it's reload time as they keep advancing through the smoke-filled battlefield. See them already starting to waver under the fire that we've put on them. We're going to bring our cavalry over just a little bit to help run them down once they break. And there they go. We'll head the cavalry back here to pick them up after they get past probably their last remaining full unit over here. We're running down over here the Janissaries. Bring up some long range fire opportunities with this unit. And we'll swing around the rest of our artillery, our infantry over here. And what will soon be over. Oh, they reformed before our cavalry could get over there. What we will do is we will provide some artillery fire over here now. As they refocus again, let's bring our cavalry back here to try to drive them into our line. And we finished with the Janissaries, so we'll bring our other cavalry over here to help run down their retreat. Now the artillery is continuing to bombard them as we start wrapping up this battle to try and prevent as many as possible from retreating. We'll put our cavalry over here. And they've broken now. They're very tired. These guys are tired. They're steady at the moment, but they're concerned with their casualties. We keep just bombarding them, and there's no hope left for these Ottomans. We'll focus fire only on their remaining units standing. We're going to come out here with our cavalry to run these. Oh, they're reforming. We'll wait. There we go. That didn't take long. They're hurting. In fact, they're all gonna fold now. Time to bring in the artillery, I mean the cavalry. Time to silence the artillery as we run them down. And we'll return once that's done. Okay, we ended up with a decisive victory. A number of their units were able to escape, so we're going to have to continue looking to run them down. But we got a decisive victory out of that. We only lost 363 units. We did a superb job. The only remaining forces is only 528. And what we will do is, we have 400 to spend to try and gain our forces back, and we will, let's see, we'll work on this cavalry unit, and he's important for us. Looks like the bombardment cost us a little bit of artillery. We'll replenish there, and for the most part, infantry came through okay. Our weakest unit is right here, and we can't afford that. So we'll start replenishing elsewhere where we can still afford. There we go. And do we have the ability to move any further? We're going to move south just a little bit more. Yeah, with this force kind of splitting us up a little bit, we want to keep track of these guys. We'll send ourselves over towards the Turkish Bath for reward for the defeat of this force. Now, as far as to repair this, we need 324. Yeah, we can't afford anything else. Our rakes are all in place. We have eyes in Sweden. We have eyes to the north in the clash between Russia and Sweden. And we have eyes down in the south that have lost track of the main Ottoman army down here. So I think we've done about all we can this turn. We spent our money, and it's time to heal back up a little bit. And depending on the progress we make over here with these two armies and how soon I'm able to move our forces out of Sarajevo, and right now, yeah, it's not looking like we can move them right away. We got to fix that. The Turkish baths here will help getting our armed forces moving. We're going to continue running down here, and let's see if we get any surprises this turn. Well, we'll take our turn, and we'll see you on the other side. And what do we have here? Great Britain. They would like a military alliance with us, which is odd. You know, they're probably one of the least countries, at least in this game, that I'm interested in making a military alliance with, purely because I don't think they're reliable to come into any wars that I would make, and I don't want to get drawn into any of their particular wars, so we're actually going to decline. What I will do, right now they're very friendly with us, so I'm not going to give them anything more. We're just going to decline for now. France also is looking for that elusive military alignment. You know, they're at war with each other, and each side is coming to us to try and have us join their side, but at the moment, nope. Okay, and Spain is now looking for a military alliance with us. So we are the popular kids on the block right now, I'll tell you that. Okay, elections have been taken, and let's see, the hustings are over. Following free and fair election, the current cabinet has regained control. So all our good, strong individuals are back. That's good news. What else have we got? A construction report. We're finishing, so that'll help us moving north when we're done down in our effort against the Ottomans right now. So having that metalled road is nice to have. And we got some technology advances, so we can upgrade now our military recruiting and government by consent. So we probably at this point may need to upgrade our schools to get to the next level there. We'll take a look right now over here. So we finished the military. Now we need to get back over here. One of these, in fact, it's this wedge formation that had been over taking a look at our naval issues. So let's take a look and take the wedge and get back over here. Let's see. Lime juice and sauerkraut. Let's get... That'll lower our naval upkeep. What's copper bottoms? Ups recruitment, but ups our speed in battle. I kind of like the idea of this one. So there we go. Now we got all these guys spread out. Now cadenced marching, that helps us with our campaign movement speed. So yeah, we'll work on that. And at the same time, we have to go upgrade to a military academy somewhere. So let's see about getting that done. I think we'll just do that in Poland itself, in Warsaw, to get that upgrade going, at least in one of our main recruitment areas. It gives us access to General's Bodyguard, National Cavalry, and Light Dragoons. Not a major upgrade, but we need to keep upgrading here so we can get to our winged hussars. That's the big thing that keeps me moving forward there. And then we had one more technology over here, and that's why it jumped over and picked up elsewhere. In fact, we still have our, I think we're upgrading for iron and the weavers' cottages. So we just gotta wait for those to finish building. And yeah, so I do already have naval here. So, you know, one of these will end up having to convert back over here once we upgrade our schools to a classical university. So let's get one of those moving. And shall we do that in Krakow, I'm guessing? Let's just check the public order in Warsaw. And it's still solid, it's still okay at the moment. So let's do that. Let's upgrade right here, so we can improve and keep moving on our research. Now, even though we've kind of lost sight of the armies over here, I'm going to have you move a little farther over. Yeah, okay, there's probably nothing. I doubt they would have moved down to Greece. Let's come back over here, see if they've reappeared. Near Istanbul? No. So I'm kind of thinking that I'm going to head across the sea here, whether you want to call it the Black Sea or the Mediterranean at this point. We're gonna eventually see about getting over here. Probably next turn to search out that main army, just so we aren't surprised. It does not appear that they're over in this area. We'll find out. We may end up getting surprised. Let's fix the Turkish baths. That'll help us move out of Sarajevo. Our public order at the moment is not going to allow this army to move. So we'll check again once these are fixed up, the Turkish baths. I'm going to get ourselves moving on this road to run down this unit. And then we're going to take this force and start our foray down against Bulgaria. That's our next target. We have not gained a sense, and we don't have a rake over here, unfortunately. We have not gained a sense of them rebuilding their forces yet, so we're going to kind of leave our back door open a little bit, but we do have a following army that'll eventually come down in this area. And you know, the biggest surprise mid-turn is the apparent success that the Swedish armies are having against the Russians. In my last playthrough as the United Provinces, it was just the opposite. The Russians were having their way with Sweden. So it is kind of fun how the game from playthrough to playthrough plays so differently, as far as you know, the AI controlled factions. And here we go. So we have this battle well in hand. You know, and we're going to fight it out, though, purely because auto-resolves just kick me in the behind. I just don't like the... I lose way more forces, especially naval, with the auto-resolves in this game. So we're gonna continue this battle, even though we will handily take care of it. They have no cavalry. We do. In fact, we have some of our lancers here that we're going to continue to practice with their charges if we can. And see if we can take them out and keep too many from escaping. We'll see you down there on the battlefield. Okay, we got a little more of a hilly battlefield, but it looks like for a big part of it, we're going to be able to set up some artillery and some commanding spots, like right on this point and maybe on another stretch of the battlefield also. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done, and then we'll return and double check our setup. Okay, here is our setup. We do have the commanding hill overlooking the battlefield. We definitely have a superior position in my mind. 2 regiments of artillery here, and on this other slight hill that still gives us some good views of the battlefield. In fact, we're just over the crest of the hill for the most part, so we got a good field of fire ahead of us over here also. So we should pretty well have the battlefield covered with our artillery pieces. Pikemen are guarding both units of artillery. Otherwise, the line is spread out in between with 2 regiments of cavalry on each side. My Uhlans over here, so we'll see if we can't get them some action this time with the general commanding from the center and a smattering of reserves. But we outnumber them vastly. Let's just get this going and start pounding them. And their artillery pieces are entrenched, which means also that we got to watch out with our cavalry as we move around behind their at least initial line setup. In fact, they're kind of backing off right now, so I'm thinking we bring our cavalry out right now, right away. And if we have the option to do a charge over here, since if they're not going to protect, if they're going to continue backing away as it looks, we're going to take advantage of it. They just have a single unit here of melee units that are retreating towards here. But we're going to charge on in. In fact, I'm going to take my artillery and start aiming for the distance so we don't run into our own artillery fire. And let's get charging here. We got some provincial cavalry. You got to be careful. There's some anti-cavalry defenses right here, so we got to be careful of that. And lots of hidden units popping up as we get closer. And we're avoiding just barely the defenses here. And let's bring our other lancers over here for a charge against the artillery. And we're not having to worry about any kind of fire from them at the moment. We're going to continue our cavalry charge forward. In fact, we got the lancers coming in now. In fact, we're going to bring the lancers right back out, because now that the forces we're bombarding are moving into us, so we may take some friendly fire. So let's retreat all the cavalry as fast as we can. And job done. Only 2 losses on that charge, and we've taken out their artillery for the most part as they are retreating now. We're going to bring our cavalry over on this side out to look at running them down as they retreat. This is an open field battle, so they do have the ability to retreat. No. Provincial cavalry has a way to want to just charge on in on their own sometimes, and that is not what we need. So we're going to back off with the cavalry at the moment and get our lines moving up. Okay, they're coming towards us after all. I was going to say, let's get our lines moving towards them and take it to them. Well, they're bringing it to us after all. These cavalry units running wide so we do not run into their defenses. Their defenses are run deep also, so we're going to have to be very aware of that. Let's go against this unit in the rear that's retreating to try and run them down first. And small arms opens fire. They couldn't even get close to us because they've already been peppered by the artillery. Seeing the fire by rank at a distance from above. We watched it up close, and it's like it's tough for melee units to enclose against that withering fire. We're gonna see about a little canister shot over here. And they broke before we could even get canister fire going, so we'll switch back to round shot. I'm gonna get this cavalry off into the rear a little bit more now to start helping run down retreating units. Ends up being a fairly static battle, so let's here and there start advancing forward. The enemy general has been killed. As you can see, we're basically in rundown mode now, so that's what we're doing, trying to mop things up here a little bit. Moving around the rear so as to avoid their defenses, but they seem to be retreating mostly off to this side, so let's go in after them. Okay, we have knocked them out of the battle. As we pretty much already knew, I'm going to continue running down who I can to minimize their retreating force, and we'll return. Alright, we've run down who we could off the battlefield, significantly, I think, reducing their numbers. Let's go find out for sure. Heroic victory. Alright, 451 men remaining out of 1,922, so we significantly reduced them, only losing 22 in the process. So highly successful battle for us. And another enemy army in full retreat. Let's replenish our losses and keep moving as far as we can. Now the only other army we really need to make sure we don't forget about is up here in Poland near Warsaw, Warszawa. And let's bring it down here. And that is our distance, but at least we're down in the territory, so if we get a surprise, the Crimean Khanate, we can react. If we get a surprise up from Istanbul, we're not hideously far away anymore, especially if we're able to retreat a little bit to join up. So we're a little more strung out than I envisioned it, but I don't think overall that we're in really bad situation here. So I'm going to go ahead at this point with the little bit of funds that I have left, and we're going to get our mine started here, and looks like that'll be about it that we can do. We did gain some traits over infantry and command when leading the army there, and we also gained some morale in battle, so our forces continue to improve and gain strength. What we're going to do is we're running up soon if we get into another turn, but I'm going to take the next turn, see how far we can get, and see what unfolds, see what surprises the next turn brings us. So we'll see you on the other side. Okay, the Crimean Khanate is interested in a peace treaty, and to be quite honest, I'm perfectly fine with taking that peace, especially since it comes with a payment. I'm not interested in that territory right now. We can come back and deal with that later. Right now I don't need that little bit of a threat coming into our side at this time. Alright, we have that peace treaty there, so we don't have to worry about a surprise coming out of nowhere from them. Not that I was overly concerned. The trade agreement has been canceled with Spain. I'm thinking their main port maybe got blockaded by somebody. I guess we'll figure that out soon enough. And the people of this region of Moldavia have downed their tools and just started to get a little bit of unrest going over there. So let's see what that looks like and what that's all about. What is driving the unrest? And right now it is the religious unrest right now. A lot of religious unrest is driving that. The resistance to our occupation will continue to fall. But what I think is important is maybe an upgrade to the building at this point, to the government building to help secure this area. And I'm not going to invest in the mine yet. What have we got over here? The farm. Well, farms are always worth investing in, but I don't want to put too much investment into an area that potentially is going to riot soon. What we can do is bring some forces down here temporarily to help with the rioting, and that'll definitely get things back in order quickly while we work on getting some of these other issues resolved. And then what we're able to do here, let's take a look at this army. Is there any other replenishing that we need? No, not here. So we're in good shape there. I think it's this army that needs some more replenishing, if memory serves me right. Correct. And while we have the funds, let's get that done. And I think we're going to continue with this remnant army. I'm actually thinking let's move south, see what they're building up or holding in Greece. It wouldn't be a bad territory since we're not under immediate threat from the big army right now anyway. Let's continue moving south with the intention of this army, seeing if they're hefty enough, seeing if they're strong enough. Oh, I would say they're not. But we're strong enough to hold our own against them moving out of Greece, Athens. So we'll park it there, and then we'll take a look over here. I think it's important to upgrade the construction of the government building here, so we can get things. In fact, we're probably to the point where we're going to be very close being able to move out. We've got French here that are converting to Catholic, which is a big help to offset this unit over here. There's a slight, but it's only an ever so slight gain from Islam and the preacher we have over here from the Ottoman Empire. So I'm not too concerned about that right at the moment. Have we opened our trade blockade yet? No, the Ottomans are still blockading there. So what we're going to do here with Croatia is we're going to build our trade port here, just so we have multiple options to keep the trade open. Let's see what else we have going down here. We have an ancillary that's been gained, happiness for nobility, which is not a big one. I don't need to figure out who has that. And we have some roads upgrading in some of our newly claimed territories. We're going to see if we can't continue. Well, I don't have a whole heck of a lot of funds available, so I don't know that we're going to be able to continue, but we'll take a look at that. Yeah, we're up to the point of metalled roads, and I need more funds to accomplish that, so we'll hold off. Now let me take a quick look with our army here, and let's just move the whole army out of the city and see what the public order looks like now. It's hanging in there okay. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to come over here to Belgrade and see if we can take over Serbia. And this should just be a quick, they should surrender on us and we gain a new territory. Alright, so let's see. We can afford to rebuild here to get public order back under control. We also have another mine here that we're going to be able to build. How solid do we feel about holding on to this? Well, let's take a look. Probably will convert to us okay. It's Orthodox more so than Islam, but we're still gonna have some religious issues down here, and we're gonna have to get some more colleges, religious colleges going, so we can get more missionaries out there. Just my single lone missionary is not cutting it right now. I don't have many funds left. Let's get another mine going. I like that idea. And we'll call that our turn, is what we're looking like. I don't think I have anyone else. Let's make sure I don't have anybody else to move. Well, I do here. In fact, we're going to move towards Bulgaria and see what kind of forces are there. And our paths have been blocked. Obviously by this, it says this unit is probably blocking it. So what we're going to do is this. We've had a pretty full episode here with a couple battles. We're going to take over and attack Sofia in Bulgaria next time with this force right here. We're going to keep our rake moving in this direction. No, we can't cross. I can't cross over here because I don't control Istanbul. Let's see if I can assimilate with the population here with our rake and not die. And then after that, maybe we can exit on the other side. 82%, we're going to try it. And we have successfully completed the mission. So that means next turn, in fact, I could even do it this turn. Let's move out. Oh, I can't do it this turn. I take that back. We are infiltrated, so next turn, we will take a look at trying to scout out and find and locate that other main army of theirs, of the Ottoman Empire. So we made some more progress this episode. I'm a little concerned in the back of my mind. I'm seeing a lot of movement up here by Sweden consolidating their hold, building. If they are brave enough to continue this army down to here, all of a sudden I'm going to feel threatened that they will move against us in the north. So we definitely got to keep our rake up here active and keeping an eye on things over in this direction, because that could become an issue. The Russians need to quit just camping in our lands. They have forces all over down here, but they're doing nothing about moving them up against Sweden. So this is ZigZagZog signing off from somewhere in this world. I hope you're enjoying what's going on in this battle, in this campaign. A lot to keep our eyes on. But give me a thumbs up if you're having a good time. Otherwise, this is ZigZagZog signing off from somewhere in this world. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.